Hey everybody, welcome to our all-new series called Less Than 10 Seconds to Survive Loss of Control in Flight. My name is Paul B.J. Ransbury. I'm the CEO of Aviation Performance Solutions, and I'm excited to share with you in this video about what the purpose is, what are the targets, what are the desired outcomes of this entire series. It's not to convince you to seek out training, it's to educate you. It's to help you understand this needless threat of loss of control in flight, and most importantly, the needless loss of life associated with it. So here it is. As a pilot, are you prepared to deal with an unexpected airplane upset event on its way to a fatal loss of control in flight accident? That's the underlying question of this entire series. Let's jump right in. Welcome back. Very quick on me. 3 decades that we've been focusing at Aviation Performance Solutions on overcoming this threat of loss of control in flight through the powerful implementation of upset prevention and recovery training. We've trained tens of thousands of pilots, just like you, and personally over 5,000 hours of training pilots in piston, jet airplanes, advanced simulators. I'm a former military fighter pilot, airline pilot, and master instructor. If you want to learn more about me, there's a QR code and a URL there. Now, let's jump into what this series is all about. Now, there's a very specific reason why we picked less than 10 seconds to survive loss of control in flight. And I'm going to talk about that in great detail in a future video. But specifically, it's associated with information analysis that Boeing and NASA did to assess the amount of time a pilot has from the first occurrence of an airplane upset condition to the point where the airplane is actually out of control. And it is less than 10 seconds, and we're going to talk about that. But for today, let's talk about what this series is about. There's going to be a bunch of stuff going on. I'll be talking about aerodynamic concepts from time to time. But the areas that we're going to try to focus in on is our APS pilot customer journeys is one of the first areas. I have this wonderful opportunity here over in our expansion facility at our headquarters in Arizona, where we graduate 2 classes of pilots every single week. Every Wednesday and Friday, we're graduating pilots just like you. And I have an opportunity to interview them if they're interested in interviewing, coming over so they can talk about their journey, what their misconceptions were, maybe what their beliefs were, what their hopes are. And the idea behind it is for you to actually hear from them about their process of not just mastering upset prevention and recovery training, but transforming to an all-new pilot who's better on every single flight. Increased flight envelope awareness, decision-making, resilience in crisis, but I'm going to let them tell you all about that. The next part is I do want to spend a little time from time to time talking about my personal upset training journey, and that's a process. It started 30 years ago. And over time, learned many key areas about how to evolve this into a world-leading program that you'll probably find very interesting. So real quick, my journey started back in 1997, where I left the military. I was not a believer in upset prevention and recovery training, didn't even know what the term was, to be honest with you, and I didn't feel that pilots needed this training. But I can tell you now, my first exposure of training civilian production and test pilots, arguably the best pilots in civilian aviation, certainly. I was shocked to find out that they were unable, 80% of them unable to effectively or safely recover from a startling, unexpected airplane upset event. And here's the funny part that I found, because I couldn't believe it at the time, is it had nothing to do with them at all. It wasn't personal. There was no difference between me and them and our capabilities, our experience, and our background, other than the fact we went through a different training system. And so that puts our finger on what the villain is in this entire series. It's the training system that's letting you down. You deserve better, because the villain knows not it's the villain. It is trying to do the best, and I would submit to you, every training center, every regulator, every instructor out in the industry are really trying to do their best, but there's a massive gap when it comes to mitigating loss of control in flight that is completely unnecessary, and these associated fatalities are also completely unnecessary because they represent nearly 50% of all fatalities in aviation. I'm also going to interview the instructors where they can share their instructor epiphanies, what they find interesting, exciting, or transformational in their process of instructing, because our instructors are the best in the world, and the key to any effective upset prevention or recovery training program or any mitigation in a training environment is the instructor. So they're key, and I want you to hear from them. This part is really cool. We're going to do 60-second challenges. And what that's going to be is to demonstrate the less than 10 seconds to survive loss of control in flight. We're going to take a random selected airplane category situation, airplane upset, stall, whatever it might be, set the scenario, then run the clock go, and in 10 seconds get it back into the heart of the envelope, and most importantly, take the initial correct actions to extend that window beyond 10 seconds to be sure that the airplane is going to be in control all the time. Because at the airplane upset condition, it's a precursor before loss of control where the pilot can still affect the outcome. And that's why it's called upset prevention and recovery training and not loss of control in flight prevention. And we're going to learn more about that as we go through. Now, this last part is really exciting for me because we are growing along with you. While we have 30 years of experience of figuring this out the hard way, and we're going to share that, you're going to have questions that you ask to us that we may not know the answers to. I'm committed to go and researching those and providing those answers to you. Certainly if it's something we've learned over the years, we'll make a video right away and share it with you, but I'm committed to finding the answers that you're asking about. My only limitation for this series, it needs to be associated with loss of control in flight. It doesn't have to be associated with upset prevention recovery training. We consider ourselves experts in mitigating the risk of loss of control in flight, so feel free to jump in with those questions. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited. This is going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to take this one step at a time. I'm going to try to put out content each and every day of the week at least. I'll see you there.